So we're in early September and it's time to start looking at your hydrangeas and seeing if they're ready to be cut as a dried flower. On this white hydrangea, Madame Mouliere, you can still see the odd pure white flower, but most of the flowers have faded off to this light greeny white colour. And whereas if you cut them as pure whites and try to dry them, they will end up drying brown. But if you cut them when they're partly green like this, you will find that you will preserve the greenish colour because the flowers are starting to die down, and that's the colour that you will keep. So we need to just cut a decent little few. We take all the leaves off because they won't dry very well. And really we just want to try and dry the whole new stems. It isn't a big handful, it isn't a big clump, but you could go as far as you liked. And what you've got to imagine is that nice light green colour dried off in a flower arrangement, sitting somewhere perhaps with some Christmas colour, and certainly where you haven't got many cut flowers through November and December, that's a good start. We'll now go on and find a few other colours. So here we've got a hydrangea which in proper flower is a purple, but as it dies back, some of the flowers go more reddish, some go more greenish with a bit of red, and some go bluish with a little bit of red. A lovely mixture, and these are the colours at this stage in the progress of the development of the hydrangea flower. These are the colours which you can preserve. So again, we're going to take a selection of brightly coloured flowers and just whip off the leaves, and just for the sake of contrast, let's try and dry off a bit of a contrast with a reddish one and a bluish one, and make a nice vase full of future colour to enjoy at Christmas. If we were to take these last few flowers and try and dry them, they would just dry off brown. You've got to wait until you've got the colorations which will make the good decorations for Christmas. So here we've got another nice little bunch with a mixture of colours. We'll just put a little tie around them. Which I can twist tight with the metal that's within this little green tie before we get back to the drying room, and we can then add a bit of proper string. So here we've got a blue hydrangea. We've looked at white hydrangeas and them changing in colour as autumn approaches, and we've looked at purple hydrangeas. Now we're having a look at a blue hydrangea. There are still just one or two flowers left, but as you can see, a lot of these flowers in the hot weather have already gone brown, and we're too late to be cutting and drying them to keep their colour. But if we look further into this large blue hydrangea, there are plenty of flowers there which are still cuttable and dryable, where we can keep the colour. And when you look again into the individual flowers, you see a great mixture of colours. You know, although this was a blue hydrangea, you're seeing purples and you're seeing greens and you're seeing a hint of red, and those are the colours that you want to keep. So let's cut a slight mixture. You know, there's a sample which is green, still green, and here we've got a flower that's still got quite a bit of blue on it. And here we've got some other flowers which are a bit somewhere between the two. Quite a bit of bluey purple in this one. And again, we're getting rid of the leaves because they won't dry properly. And we're only selecting the flowers which are still intact with colour. And again, we've got a little selection there which will tie up nicely with a bit of a wire surround so that we can hang them up in the drawing room. So we're now down in our boiler room, where, as you can see, there are jackets and stuff drying off from a recent wet day. And what we're going to do is get our three different bunches of hydrangeas, from the white, the purple and the blue hydrangeas, and we're going to just leave them in here until they're fully dry and until we can be certain we've got the colour preserved. It's warm in here but not overly hot, and the hydrangeas need to be hung upside down so that the basically as they dry out upwards, as it were, and therefore the colour is retained in the individual flower heads. It won't take long for them to dry out. Once they're dry, you can take them away and store them somewhere else. You can paint spray them different colours, or you can simply appreciate the colours as they are. Simple and easy, takes very little time, but the end result is something really quite spectacular.